Okay, well, Ryan, we're 1 week into the season, sort of. How you doing?
Yeah. 1 week in, 2 wins and a loss. I'm happy.
There you go. Well, just for our listeners, we're doing this one a little early. We're doing this Saturday after the early games because Ryan's traveling, so we're doing this a little bit beforehand. That you're going to get this on Sunday versus Monday, so that's good for the listeners. You got an extra day to listen to us.
Well, look, last time we commented on how talking about Kaprizov not getting signed got him signed immediately, and what did that mean for Connor McDavid? And we declined to speculate. It was all up in the air. And then, what do you know? The next day, Connor McDavid signs
The
what can
best
only be called the most team-friendly contract in sports history.
in sports history, in any sports history. It's amazing. I do want to go back to our actually preseason special because both of us sort of
Was
commented
it
on
special?
it was special. It was
What was
special
the
because
preseason episode? The
it was
season preview.
as wrong as I was on Kaprizov, we were both right on what McDavid should do and would do. We both said that in light of what was going on with the Oilers and his desire not to sign a long-term deal, that he should sign a team-friendly short-term deal,
Mm-hmm.
and it's exactly what he did. Did I ever think in my wildest dreams that he would sign for equal money that he was making, 12.5 million for 2 years? So in fact, they got him for three because they got him for this year and two more
Yep.
on a deal that can only be said like he's basically challenged Stan Bowen and the executive team at in Edmonton to sort of
You
say,
build me a winner.
go build me a winner because I'm giving you 3 years, and if you don't do it, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, by the way, you could make the argument that Sidney Crosby's deal before the last one, which was an 8-year deal at $8.7 million per season, was significantly under market as well, and it was a long-term commitment.
Yes.
So you could make the argument that it was an even more team-friendly deal, I guess. But
Given what Kaprizov signed for,
yeah,
McDavid could have got 20.
yeah,
He
and
left
that was
$8 million on the table a year. And basically, as we just said, challenge the executive team in Edmonton to say, go build me something here. And by the way, and we'll get to it in a few minutes, and an exact example happened with the goal that Skinner gave up in game one to send it into overtime. We'll get it to it in a second, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. But
yeah. Basically what you're saying is Skinner repaid Connor McDavid's act of generosity and team brotherhood to cough up a game in the first
cough
game of the
up a
season.
game. Jeez. But
But beyond that, they went ahead and spent a good chunk of the money on Jake Wolf.
who's
Right.
injured, hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
So
So
7 years, 7 million. Who, by the way, this is a guy that went on waivers 2 years ago, basically got bought out.
but he was their second best defenseman in the playoffs last year.
No question, but I'm just saying. But a couple of years ago in San Jose, they put him on waivers and basically said we don't need you anymore. And now he's gone from waivers to 7 million a
Yeah.
year, and no question, he had a great playoff. He's definitely their second best defenseman.
He outplayed Darnell Nurse in the playoffs
No
last year,
question.
I would say.
No question. So
So,
so deserving. I'm not saying it's not deserving. It's just, change
right.
of scenery, put him on a better team. He becomes a better player and whatnot. But
Yeah.
and staying with Edmonton, they also signed Ekholm to a 3-year, $4 million, which I would actually say is a
Wow.
bit team friendly too, because that guy
He's a
on
$6
open
million
market, yeah,
defenseman.
open
Six, $7
market
million dollars.
for
Yeah.
that defensive defenseman, a guy, big guy who makes a lot of hits, plays well in his own end. He's definitely worth more than 4 million a season. So you got a couple guys over there really giving it their all to sort of say, we want to win. We want to win now.
Yep.
Until they
Yep.
change what's going on in net, though, I'm still not changing my predictions of they're
Big
not
problem.
making the Stanley Cup Finals. So,
Big problem in net. Big problem in net.
but
I think what they would love more than anything else, and it's not going to happen, but they would love to see St. Louis fall out of the playoff race and not play well and be a giant disappointment. And then they could throw a lot of money at Jordan Binnington, Canadian Olympic goalie. A lot of narrative you can
absolutely
draw
big time
up
goalie.
around that.
Yeah, big time goalie in big moments. He's proved that he can do it. He's won a Stanley Cup, and
That would
and won the
fire up
Four
Edmonton.
Nations. Absolutely. The problem is, and I had this debate on with again with my friends on social media about the depth of the goaltending right now and who would they go and get. The only thing they can really do is go and sign somebody else's backup goaltender. And there's a few of them out there and trying to do a trade and sign for a backup goaltender. They could probably go steal Quick out of New York. They could maybe steal Jake Allen out of New Jersey.
Hmm.
Maybe Wool, if he's healthy in Toronto, given that they've given the crease to Stolhars, maybe they could get Wool out of Toronto. But that's the
No, they
type of
can't. They
thing.
can't. I'll tell you why they can't. Because if the third goalie is Caden Primo, he has not proven that he's an NHL
Well,
goaltender. Not even a backup.
I'll get
He
to
has
that
not
when I
proven that he's an NHL
no
goaltender.
question. And I'll get to that while when we get to the Leafs and the Habs in a few moments. But I don't disagree with that. But I do think that if they threw the right thing at Toronto, maybe Wool is available. I'm not suggesting it's the right move for the Leafs to make. I'm just saying that's what Oilers were going to have to do in order to get a goaltender because there's nobody out there that's obvious they can go and
Yeah.
get at this moment.
Well, they're probably happy they didn't make a big move for John Gibson because
Got
Gibson
pulled.
sucked against Montreal
He
the
got
other
pulled in a
night.
5-1 win.
And
Yeah.
and did he play tonight? I
No,
don't
it
know.
was
No, he
Talbot
did not.
tonight.
It was Talbot
Yeah.
tonight. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
moving on, while we're on signings, should we
yeah,
then
more
talk about
signings this week.
Jake Eichel signs 8 years, 13.5 million. How does Marner feel he's no longer the highest paid player on the team?
Uh, you know what?
Boo hoo.
13 and a half million is not that much more than he signed for.
It's more.
It's more, but I don't think Mitch Marner is that precious about it. Also, Jack Eichel is a center.
Yes. It's also
And
better.
he's also better. I'd say they're pretty equivalent
I
players.
know. I'm just bitter.
I
I'll
know
get
you're.
over it.
You'll get. No,
I'll get
you
over
won't.
it.
But the thing is, you can't forget that Marner's a Toronto boy,
Yes.
right? Like you got to give him some residual affection just because you guys are hometown boys. You know?
I also got to say, Eichel didn't show up in the playoffs last year either. So,
No,
no.
no.
So,
Although I watched their first game this year against the Kings, and this is not an Eichel thing. This is a complete and utter tangent. Um, Mitch Marner missed some passes and avoided some hits, and I was like, "Oh, nothing's changed.
nothing's changed.
He's just doing it in an uglier uniform."
Well, they both teams blew 2 goal leads. The Kings
Yep.
blew a 2 goal lead to start. Knights blew a 2 goal lead late. And then Marner had a chance to extend the shootout and missed it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
apropos a little bit.
Is there an uglier uniform in sports than the gold home Knights uniform?
I don't love them, but
They're horrible.
the people in Vegas seem to love them though.
It's not even really gold.
You can't
It's
walk
just
around
like this-
Vegas without seeing somebody in one of those things.
I know they should have stuck with their like those original black ones they had. The gold is awful, especially when they pair them with those like gold and white gloves.
No, the thing I hate is those stupid golden helmets.
Well, no, the thing I hate are the silver helmets the Kings wear
Oh yeah,
as an
I don't
alternative
mind those
helmet.
as much as the gold helmets.
They're all awful.
Yeah,
It's all. If you're wearing a chromed out helmet, you look like an idiot.
which was different because Detroit today was wearing a matted white, a matted red helmet. So the matted finish, like a car
Yeah,
matted
yeah.
finish, it was just as bad. Just go back to your normal helmets.
Well, when
It's
they,
all about
when,
selling more paraphernalia.
yeah, I know. Did you see? Didn't they wear one last year where they had like a white stripe down the center?
Yeah. It
Like,
was like the
like
racing
what
car
are you,
stripe.
Ohio State? What is this?
Ohio State.
All
We can only
right.
hope.
So back to our signings. Next big one up after Eichel is Kyle
Kyle
Connor
Connor.
in Winnipeg, an American player signing in Winnipeg for
8
long
years.
term. For
8 years, 12 years, something the team has not done historically. And in fact, if you listen to the experts tonight on all the broadcasts, they were talking about how surprised they were and that the fact that the team management went to some of the other star players and said, "We're about to do this. Are you okay with this?" And they all to a person said, "He's that important. We're
Yeah,
okay
he's our
with it."
best player.
Yeah. Who else is going to score goals on this team? So yeah, absolutely. So it's great for him. Great for Winnipeg. You know, they're right there with Dallas, with the Knights, with Colorado, with Edmonton. So we've all said it. Whoever comes out of that division could be the Stanley Cup representative of the West.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I'm just amazed. I'm so happy for Winnipeg that they kept a player like that. But when you think about it, they've signed a lot of their free agents that you would have expected to leave
Yeah.
over the years. You know, Shifley's resigned, Blake
Yeah.
Wheeler resigned a bunch of times.
The only one they've
Um,
lost is Ehlers, really.
yeah. They've done a really good job convincing their free agents to say. Now they say, you know, Connor is a big outdoorsy guy. He likes to hunt and fish and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, they've got outdoors in other cities. It's not really,
Yeah.
you
But do
know,
they have the mosquitoes that
yeah.
Winnipeg
I don't know.
has?
Maybe they don't have elk to hunt like they do in Alberta
Yeah,
and Manitoba. But yeah, I was just very impressed that they managed to pull that off.
absolutely.
They're pretty well set up to compete for a while.
Absolutely. And Edmonton did
Uh,
spend a little bit money. They went out and got Jack Roslovic. Not a huge signing, but again, another piece,
he's
another
a he can
opportunity.
be
He's 15 to 20 goal guy.
a decent 3C,
Yep.
and they need that.
Yep.
They need that, and it gives them the up and down the lineup flexibility that we talked about in our season preview.
And
And
especially with Hyman out, again, another person that could potentially score goals.
yeah,
Because without Hyman in there, they're missing a little bit of offense.
yeah,
So
can't argue with
it's
that.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah, it's been an interesting week. We'll see. And there was a lot of chatter this today and the last few days about these signings all happening at the last minute. We all know the salary cap is rising. It's gone up this year. It's expected to go up again big time next year. So are they getting these? And obviously the agreement is changing with the PA that they can't sign 8-year term deals anymore. It's only going to be 6 or 7. I can't remember what it was now. It's going to
seven.
be shorter. 7. So they're all trying to get these deals in now before the changes and they don't want this to be a distraction throughout the year. We've said this in our preseason special that the list of unrestricted free agents this year was amazing. Well, we just knocked off 4 of them,
Right,
right? So it's
right.
shrinking. So
How do you
the
think Bill Guerin is feeling today?
I think he's feeling pretty good.
You think so? Like, you think I spent 17 million on Kaprizov, and all of these other superstars are signing for millions
Yeah,
and millions
I
less than
think if
that?
he hadn't though, he was going, right? It was either sign him or trade him.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. They changed their fortunes this year because we both said if they didn't have him, they weren't making the playoffs with him. He drives the bus there, right?
No,
So in a
I
rising
don't
salary
disagree. I
cap,
don't disagree. The question is, if he waits 3 weeks and all of these other signings have happened, is it
pressure on
easier
him
to?
not to do that.
Yeah, is there pressure on him to say, Kirill, my boy, we want to keep you. We want to have a winning team with you. We want to win Stanley Cups with you. If you take $17 million out of our cap, it's going to be hard. And look at all these other superstars who are taking less than that
Yeah.
because they want to win too.
I guess there's both ways you can look at that is that you've got him locked up for 8 years now with a rising cap. Depending on what happens, you're going to have some room in other places versus a 2 or 3 year deal and he signs it to cap friendly. If you don't win, he's gone, right? So
Yeah, but
it's
but
playing with
Connor and Eichel did not sign for 2 years.
no, I agree. I
Well,
agree.
McDavid was
But
the only one who did.
Kyle and Eichel, as great as they are, don't drive the bus quite the way for their teams the
The way
way
Kaprizov does. Yeah,
Kaprizov does for Minnesota. We saw what happened with them last year. When he was out of the lineup, they were almost put out for pasture, right? They were
yeah,
almost dead. And when he came back, they made it back into the playoff race. So, you can look at it either way, but I think that they got him locked up long term. He's happy. Now they got to build something around him.
yep,
He's
yep,
he's the guy. So that puts us on to our Leafs and our Habs.
yeah. What do you want to go with first?
Um, I can go
I'll talk about
first.
the Habs. I'll talk about the Habs. I'm
Go
feeling
ahead,
good.
talk about the
They
Habs.
eked out a win.
They did.
So they're 2-1. They first 3 games on the road before they come home for 4 straight. There's so little you can tell from early in the season,
It's
but
too
there are
early.
a few things that I did note. Number one, their neutral zone game looks completely different than it did last year. It's fun to watch. There are teams that trap you in the neutral zone and they kind of angle you off and take the puck. And there's a little bit of there's some fighting for the puck along the boards or in the middle of the ice, and then you either get possession of the puck and then you turn it around, or it comes back, but less organized. The Canadians are moving forward when they're trapping people, or moving forward when they're reading. They are reading the play and they are moving the other direction with speed when they are picking these pucks off, and their counterattack as a result is awesome. Now, they are not finishing much at this point. They had some really nice plays they finished in Detroit, but other than that, they've had a little bit of a lack of finish. They're overpassing the puck just a little bit. I expect all of that to get sorted out in time. I'm not too worried about that. But what's been great to watch is that neutral zone game. Their power play and penalty killing needs a little polish. I think they had 67 power plays tonight, and they converted on two of them.
You wrote me at one point, they said there's power play number 8 or 9. I went,
it was their 9th, and it was still in the second period. And they were all legit penalties. Like, Detroit could not legitimately argue against any of them. Most of them were like tripping penalties, the most obvious kind. And while the Canadians are doing a fantastic job of entering the zone on their power play, especially compared to what they were doing last year, they've changed that up a little bit too. They're still using that sort of drop pass at center ice thing that everybody uses, but instead of having one player come up with that puck now with speed, they've got somebody else coming up with that person with speed to give a second high speed option coming into the zone. And so far it seems to be confusing defenses a little bit, and they're entering the zone reasonably easily. And it also gives them a second forechecker moving at high speed when they get it, if they have to dump the puck in. So I really like the way that's looking. Again, just need a little bit more finish. Zach Bolduc, goals in 3 straight games. What an acquisition he's been so far. Noah Dobson looks great. Demidov,
it's early for him.
Yeah, like every game he does 2 or 3 things that are like, wow, but haven't translated to scoring at this point. But as I predicted, very entertaining team to watch, very entertaining brand of hockey. They're an offensive team. I think they're going to they're exactly what I thought they were going to be.
There's going to be moments in the season where their play is going to turn. Your beard is a little gray. Your hair is going to start to get a little gray.
Oh, without a doubt.
You're going to have fun watching him.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. They are going to be a fun team to watch.
No, it's early.
Yeah, which is why I don't want to talk too much about them. Tell me about the Leafs. How are you feeling?
One win against your Habs, and I have to take that as a win, even though it was a tight match. And
it was a very evenly played game.
And even after that game, the Leafs in tonight's second game, just sloppiness. And I think that's just early.
It's early. October hockey is very different.
Right. They're just not there yet. Blew a 2-goal lead tonight. Again, just sloppy. They've seemed to pick up the old habits, picked off where they left off last year on a bad habit about getting outshot. Not necessarily outplayed, probably outplayed a little bit tonight, but outshot, which is dangerous, and leaving it to Stolhartz, who stood on his head for a lot of the night again tonight to hold them close till the end. And then penalties caught up with them, sloppy play in their own end. I guess my biggest problem is I don't understand the desire or the continued belief that Robertson is actually a hockey player. Game 1, -1.
We couldn't get through the first in-season episode without talking about him.
I think this is the problem: is the team evolves. Let's evolve, right? Let's give the young guys a chance. And I think you're going to see Cowan tomorrow or Monday in their rematch against Detroit on Monday afternoon. But game 1, he gives away the puck twice in his own end. He's a -1. He's running around again like a peewee hockey player all over the place. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but again, you got it. He's not scoring. He's not doing anything. Give Cowan a chance, right? Put him in, give him a chance. I like Domi as a center. I liked Michelli on the first line. Obviously a little bit of a slow start for our stars, Matthews, Tavares and Nylander, a little bit of a slow start. Yes, Matthews and Nylander scored in the first game against the Habs. Those are both empty netters, so I'm not getting too high on those. But They've got to clean up the sloppiness. They got to clean up the game. They're the heaviest team in the league, which I was surprised to see that stat come out this past week.
They were noticeably huge
Yeah,
against Montreal.
which is becoming noticeably a little bit slow then too, right? They're a big team. There's some guys that can skate, but you gotta win those puck battles. And that's the thing. Robertson isn't winning a puck battle. You're watching tonight. He didn't win a puck battle. He shoots the puck in and gets knocked off the puck. Give Cowan a chance. Let him play. Let him develop over the course of the season. Let him get in there. The problem for the Leafs in the first two games, our fourth line was the best line. Lawrence, Yarncroc, and Waugh was our best line. Scored both of our goals tonight. That's a problem for us. It's good that balanced scoring getting scored in other places.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem when that's our best line on the ice.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's early. No one's
Congratulations on getting Yarn Croc right
Aaron Crocker
twice.
right again. That's
2 weeks
two
in a
times
row. It's very
So,
impressive.
yeah. So
I agree. I look, there's a lot of room for growth. It's always needs polish in October. But that said, I will say after having watched the Leafs Habs game last week, I wish that like there was a way of teaching everybody on the Canadians who has skate and puck and stick skills how to protect the puck like William Nylander does.
yes,
Because he's not a big guy. He's not using his body to protect the puck, in a physical way.
no,
But
it's
he
in his
uses
style of way
he
he
uses
skates.
the way he uses angles
Yes,
to keep people away from the puck when he's controlling it, and to be able to keep his head up to look for a play to make. There are so few guys in the league that can do that. It's absolutely amazing to watch him do that.
Kucherov's another one that can do it.
Yeah.
Small guy, again, the way he moves his hips and gets guys in the way. But yeah, absolutely agree with you. 100%.
He just protects the puck in a really special way. It's fun to watch.
He just
Well,
needs
it's not fun to
care
watch when it's
100% of the time. That
well,
interview with Berube and early before the preseason, they were talking about what he thinks about Nylander and his genius of how he plays, and he goes, he left sort of the story. The leaving feeling I got from the story was, yeah, I really love this guy. I just wish he played like that 100% of the time. Nylander tends to fall asleep during games, and he gets disinterested really easily. And tonight
Yeah.
was one of those nights. When he's got the puck and he's engaged, to your point, he's hard to defend. And when he's not engaged, I can knock him off the puck. Right. So,
Yeah.
but the only other thing I will say about the Leafs, because you brought it up, and I just want to touch on the goalie situation, is I was a little surprised that they picked up Primo and they sent Hildeby down to the minors, which tells me two things. One, they really want Hildeby to continue to develop, and they wanted to give him playing time and didn't want to sit him. And the other piece of that says they're going to ride Stolharts as much as they can early in this season because they don't play a lot of back-to-backs. They're willing to give Stolharts the net, and then Stolharts is going to continue to get the net until there's back-to-back games, and then maybe you bring Hildeby up and play, and Primo still plays the backup role. I don't know, but I was a little shocked that they brought in Primo and didn't keep Reimer. Not that I wanted them to keep Reimer, but
Yeah,
I was a little surprised.
you were so
they
excited
said,
that they brought Reimer on.
yeah, without
first
Wool,
place.
they need Hildeby to continue to develop, and sitting on the bench isn't going to help him. So they sent him to minors, let him play, and they're going to ride Stolharts. And it tells me they're going to give Stolharts the net as much as they possibly can, which is not a bad thing because he's the best player on the ice most nights.
Yeah. I think that's a fair interpretation of that. Because as I said, Caden Primo has not proven
No.
to date that he is an NHL caliber goalie.
No. And once Wool comes back, he's either on waivers or he's in the minors.
Yeah. Or who knows? Maybe he turns into one of those late bloomer guys. Like Sam Montembeault didn't really blossom until he was 28,
Right.
and Charlie Lindgren was a Canadian's backup for years. Never really found himself until he got to Washington. So you never want to count anybody out. But to this point, Primo hasn't really proven anything. All right. So what else is on our list?
Well, let's just give shout outs before we go, because we don't want to talk too long tonight and whatnot. A few shout outs. I want to say it's been nice. And I watched a little bit of the game today to see Tags back in the league. Jonathan Tags playing in Winnipeg. I watched a little bit of the game. It's his first regular season game since April of 23. So shout out to him to have some perseverance to deal with what he was dealing with and to make the comeback at his age. He's won 3 cups, 2 cups, 2 or 3 cups, 3 cups.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't need to prove anything. He's been a great player, but that burning desire to compete was still there, and he's back in his hometown helping the Winnipeg Jets, and I really like to see that. So that's a great one for me. I'm really happy to see him back.
Oh, great. As for me, I'll just say that so far the LA Kings are exactly what I expected. They're scoring a lot of goals and giving up a few more. They got to tighten that D up.
You called it. They got to
tighten that D up.
Kemper had a magical year last year. I don't think he's going to repeat this year, and that team could be in trouble if that happens.
Yeah, it's like Bradley Cooper in Limitless. He ran out of those pills, and he's not a superstar goalie anymore. Yeah,
absolutely. He woke up one morning, and went, hold on, I'm Darcy Kemper. Darcy Kemper. The other shout out is to, and I don't do this for the Islanders much, but he got a Canadian kid, first overall pick, Matthew Schaefer, making the team as the first number one and scoring a goal tonight. It was a little bit of an ugly goal, jam puck at the front of the net, but
hey, if you're a defenseman and you're jamming pucks in at the net, you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. So good for him. So the only other thing I think we got to talk about, I know we're a hockey podcast. I know you're in LA, but shout out to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay.
Beating the Yankees, taking them out of the playoffs. Now going to compete for the American League Championship and maybe, hopefully, and I'm sure you're hoping for this, Toronto-LA final. We're going to take it all. What I'm going with this, we're going to take it all this year. We're going to take the Stanley Cup. We're going to take the MLB championship. We're going to take the
World Series.
We're going to take it all. The Argos are going to win the
Grey Cup.
They're going to win the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. The Argos are going to win the Super Bowl. Okay, where can I get it? Where can I get
on? Taking it all.
Where can I get that action in Vegas?
I had a couple
I'll go pretty hard
dinner,
against
so
that.
You can tell I'm still riding a high.
Well, I hope Toronto and LA meet in the World Series, because that way you and I can throw some money on the table and see how it goes.
There you go. Wait, you're saying you're not a Blue Jay fan as a Canadian? Come on.
I'm not a baseball fan anymore.
Either.
When the Expos left Montreal, they lost me forever.
Yeah, but I'm rooting for the Jays. It's fun to watch. Toronto's got to win something, right? So
yeah,
if we can't win the Stanley Cup, then we'll take the World Series.
I don't have very flexible shoulders, so for the last couple of decades, I've had an impossible time getting the knife out of my back that Bud Selig personally put there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the week 1 in the books.
Yep.
You go have a fun trip. Safe travels.
Thank you. I'll be watching hockey in the middle of the night when I can, so that we have I can talk knowledgeably about nothing next week.
I'll keep texting you. I'll keep you up to date. There's no problem there. I got you. I got your back.
I know you will.
Great.
Well, great chatting with you again, Phil.
You have a fun trip, a good trip. I will see you next Sunday night. A battle waged in silver and blue. This is hockey, the heart of the